Good morning and welcome back to the KR Daily Transmission. I'm so happy to be here with you this morning. It was wonderful to read everyone's feedback about our time with Isis yesterday, and I was really feeling Isis this morning, and it felt as though we should keep going with our teachings in the Sophia Code. Isis is one of our three mentors for self-love that we're exploring this month in February. And if you're just joining us live right now, please feel free to introduce yourself to our community. You can share your name, where you're watching live from. And we also have team angels that are available to answer any of your questions live. And if you are watching this on the replay, feel free to reach out to us anytime at kaira.com. My team angels are happy to get back to you. So how y'all feeling this morning? Oh, wow. Good morning. It's so lovely to see everyone saying hello. It's so great to see everyone just getting to know each other. It's been really cool watching the evolution, the journey that we're all going on together as a community with these morning practices together. If you'd like to share any reflections about good morning, if you'd like to share any reflections about what's coming up for you in your self-love journey, you can feel free to share with us in the chat. And if you're watching on the replay, you can always share your reflections, write in your reflections in the comment feed. I love reading your feedback. I love learning more about you. And when I meet you at events, I definitely feel as though I know those people that have been writing in on social media, because I really do take in your comments, and it's such an honor to celebrate your spiritual journey with us. It's such joy. So thanks for staying in communication and sharing your feedback, your thoughts, your reflections. It's really fun being in this dialogue with you. So I'm still opening my eyes. I got a great workout this morning, but I'm only halfway through my cup of coffee. So, so good to see everyone. Thank you for your comments. So I'm going to just take a sip of my coffee. And if you have your copy of the Sophia Code, we are going to turn to Isis's chapter, and we're going to go into some teachings about self-love that we find in Isis's chapter of the Sophia Code. Yeah. Okay. Open to the perfect page for us to begin. So I am on page 62 of the Sophia Code, and we're going to read two paragraphs together out loud. For those of you who are new to the Sophia Code, when you read the Sophia Code out loud, you are activating your higher self-embodiment, you are activating your divine genome, and you are deepening in your mentor connection with the Ascended Masters, such as beloved winged Isis, so that you can get to know, get to be familiar what it feels like to call forth and create sacred space with the presence of Isis, who, honestly, Isis has been one of the most, I don't want to compare all of the Keycodes because I can't imagine my life without any of them. But if I were to say who's had the deepest impact on me as a spiritual leader, as a businesswoman, as a founder of a ministry, it would be Isis. I was just sharing with a team angel only minutes ago while we were getting ready. Isis didn't have to lead. Isis was born to royalty. She was born to a royal lineage that she could have just laid back and enjoyed the status, the hierarchical status that her position afforded her. But Isis had a mother that was consecrated to the divine feminine. Her mother was a devout initiate of the Hathor teachings. And when she gave birth to Isis, she promised to raise Isis in the same Hathor mystery school that her mother came from. So Isis from the very beginning was being mentored by this, this incredible creative genius, divinely loving presence of Hathor. And I could talk about Hathor for days. I'm not going to go there. It's so easy to want, just like when I talk about Mother Mary, it's so easy to want to talk about Mary Magdalene and vice versa. They're really a dynamic duo. But coming back to Isis, if we want to really confront those places that we hide out from, my my personal trainer the other day, he was like, "You're sandbagging." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "You could lift way more than that. I know what your glutes can do, and you're sandbagging, and we're putting on more weight." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." Like, I didn't say anything. I just went with what he was doing, and I was having a bit of that, like, sure, I'll lay back in this particular round of exercise. And he was like, "No way, let's go." And I love that. And that's what Isis does for us, where we're sandbagging in our self-love journey. And a big part of our self-love journey is stepping into our divine purpose, stepping into being seen in our gifts and talents. And I think that's a really big place where low self-esteem, trauma, just general feelings of unworthiness can really hold us back for years, even decades of our life, when we have so much to offer and so much to give. And the ego structure can really weasel its way into how we sandbag out, how we hold back, how we don't pack on the weight, so that on those barbells, so that we are actually truly flexing our spiritual muscles and showing up to what we said we would show up to in this lifetime. And I'm going to share a lot about that in Austin at our upcoming Sovereign Spiritual Leadership Immersive. Couldn't be more excited to talk and to share and to explore for 3 days about one of my most favorite topics, which is stepping into leadership and showing up to our purpose. And why is it one of my favorite topics? Why am I so grateful that Isis doesn't let me sandbag in life, and that she keeps asking me to, in the most loving way, to keep bench pressing what I'm capable of? And it's because when I show up to serve, I discover more and more about my own heart. I feel my place in the universe. I feel how I was created to serve and to uplift and to empower others. And when you do the reps, really going on that personal trainer theme today, when you do the reps of your divine purpose, when you show up to your divine purpose, whether you feel it or not, whether you like it or not, and let me tell you, leadership sometimes can feel like a royal pain in the butt. We're going to talk about royalty. It's like there are days that it feels like a thankless job. And there are so many days where it can feel so rewarding. But those who truly succeed, those who truly blossom, thrive, and flourish in their divine purpose, they show up to their divine purpose no matter how it feels. It's like they're like, they are willing to make the prayer. They're willing to be inside the daily meditation of, I came here to serve. I came here to lead. I came here to make a difference. And no matter how I feel about that, I'm getting up and I'm going to do my part today. So my journey with physical fitness is such a parallel for me with having the strength, the stamina, the faith, the perseverance, the courage to keep showing up to my divine purpose, no matter how I feel about that. And over the course of the years, especially when I mentor with Isis, with every next step that I take in my divine purpose, it builds a confidence in my willingness to show up. It's not a confidence that comes from ego. It's a confidence that comes from the gratitude of what it feels like to show up day after day, month after month, year after year. you start to trust your own heart. You start to thank your own heart. You start to love your own heart in ways that perhaps you may not be able to access any other way. Part of what happens when we serve others with our divine purpose is it breaks down over time. It breaks down our resistances to our own self-love. Eventually, it becomes impossible to love others, to show up and serve others and not turn that loving gaze to yourself if you've struggled with the journey of self-love. So that is a message that I'm really feeling from Isis coming through for us today. That showing up to your divine purpose is part of your self-love practice. And if you are already showing up to your divine purpose, thank you. And I assure you that mentoring with Isis will always help you expand and grow and creatively challenge you to keep going higher, wider, clearer, and more empowered in every aspect of your life. There's no resting on your laurels with Isis. I share so much about that in the Stargate 1 and Stargate 2 curriculum. And that's a good thing. We didn't come here to bore the universe or ourselves in our personal development. We came here to lean into those places that are vulnerable, are uncomfortable, because that's where our highest growth edge is. That's where that threshold of expansion can really just unfurl and amplify and multiply our impact on the world. So coming back full circle to the Sophia code, if you want to open to page 62, let's read these two paragraphs at the top of the page, and then I'll share more about them. And this is the words of Isis, which we find in chapter 6 of the Sophia code. Isis is saying, step through the temple gates of your inner sight. You are here to remember yourself as holy and pure, a daughter and son of the Most High. To you, a crown of life is given, for you have been made in the image of Sophia's sovereignty. When you humble your heart to finally accept that you are both the queen and the king of your individual destiny, you will discover that there is no one above you or beneath you in this true description of royalty. To know and receive yourself for the royalty that you are immediately shifts your ego into a resting place, calling forth a serenity in which you feel safe enough to allow all others this same acknowledgement without reservation. The fullness of your divine inheritance awaits the opening of your heart to receive it. I mentor you in your willingness to receive your unlimited divine inheritance beyond measure in honor of your royal divine nature. Whew, that is such a powerful passage. I'll never forget channeling the Isis chapter. It was just every paragraph felt like jewels coming from her heart into this world, dragon jewels. And let's go back to the beginning of that first paragraph. Step through the temple gates of your inner sight. So she's saying, open your inner eyes, right? There's the viewing of the outer world, but when we sit and we actively listen and quiet our mind, we can drop into our heart. And there is the sight within where you can access your entire soul and all of creation. And so this inner sight, she's invoking it within you, and she's saying, you need to remember that you're holy and pure. Why would that be important? Well, we have a full spectrum of experiences in the human journey. You know, there are experiences where we know we got mud all over our face, where we fell short that day in our spiritual practice. We were doing the best we could, but we still got mud all over our face. We might have said something we wish we didn't, had an assay, we might have acted in a way that we regret. We might have to go ask for forgiveness or reconcile with our own hearts. It's like some days are like, walking in a garden of roses, and other days we're in the swamp of our own transformation. And what Isis is saying is, no matter what is happening in the roller coaster ride of your spiritual awakening and journey, you are still holy and pure. Your true essence is the light of God. Your soul comes from Sophia. So the hot mess of being human, that's the experience that divinity is having through you. And if divinity is choosing the experience of being the human form that it's choosing to be, then these learning experiences would only be a mirror for the holiness and the purity of your heart. It's fascinating. And what she's saying is, don't base your self-esteem, your sense of worthiness, on the learning experience. If you saw a 5-year-old, building something with Tinker Toys, and then maybe something fell over and the whole thing collapsed, would you walk up to them and say, "You're a terrible architect. You'll never be able to build a good home. I can't even believe you tried to attempt that with Tinker Toys. Where's your blueprint?" It's just like, it's just a 5-year-old playing with toys. And so that's your divinity experiencing life through your human body. Your divinity is already holy and pure, and your humanity, in every range and stage and chapter of its evolution, it's growing and cultivating an awareness and experiences that are essential for your soul's development. You don't know what your soul might be gathering information about from playing with Tinker Toys at 5 years old. You just don't know, but your soul knows. Your soul has a plan. It has a destiny. It has a purpose for everything you're experiencing in the hot mess journey of your human life, and it values it. This is a very powerful teaching that we received from Isis's mentor, Hathor, and I was feeling those teachings so strongly this morning, where Hathor shares in her chapter 7, where she's just like, everything I experienced in my human journey was just a spiritual gold for my soul, whether it was challenging or hard or, even infuriating. It was all data. It was all information. It was all essential for her soul to explore and receive that information for whatever reason it was important for her soul. And so in this reading with Isis, she's saying, you are a daughter and son of the Most High. Only a divine being could have the opportunity to be human, or any other form for that matter. She's saying, let's shift your perspective about what it means to be human. You are literally a child of God. You are a daughter and son of the Most High. And Isis goes on to say, to you a crown of life is given. So what she's saying is, by being given the gift of life, which your soul was given when you were created by the Divine Mother, she's saying, this in and of itself is the crowning. It's saying, you are royalty. You are a daughter and son of the Most High because you've been given the breath of life. To value your own life at this level, it raises your self-esteem to such, and your self-honor and your self-love to such greater heights, because it's not based on your performance. It's not based on your talents. It's not based on what you can produce. It's not based on what a great mother you are, or if you're an exceptional father, or if you're attain the role of a CEO or the top manager position. It's just like, the truth is that your worthiness rests in the very origin of your soul. Why is this important? Well, it's important for many reasons. And she goes on to say, when you humble your heart to finally accept that you are both the queen and king of your individual destiny, you will discover that there is no one above you or beneath you in this true description of royalty. So if you were part of a royal family, if you were part of this beautiful lineage that has come directly from the heart of God, wouldn't you just see everyone as equals, no matter what their various gifts or talents would be expressing? If you knew you are all coming from the same place, that need to compare instead of cherish our differences would start to recede. What would start to come forward would be this celebration that we all come from this sovereign divine space, which takes us off the hook of competition and comparison, which then allows for us, which what Isis is saying in the next paragraph, to know and receive yourself for the royalty that you are, immediately shifts your ego into a resting place, calling forth a serenity in which you feel safe enough to allow all others the same acknowledgement without reservation. What is she saying? She's saying, hey, when you accept that you are this extraordinary, divine, holy, pure soul, it allows you to calm down about whether you are that or not, and then to be able to start opening your heart to mirroring and reflecting and serving others as sovereign divine equals. It's the end. Divine feminine Christ consciousness is the end of hierarchy. Divine feminine Christ consciousness says we all came from the same womb. And if we came from the womb of the divine mother of all life, guess what? We're all holy, and we could start moving on to loving each other a whole lot more instead of separating ourselves from one another so much. And she's saying the fullness of your divine inheritance awaits the opening of your heart to receive it. So many people, will write into us and say, I'm struggling with abundance. I'm struggling with my relationship. I want to manifest this. I want to live here. I want this job. I want. And I love that you want all of those things for yourself. Your desires are coming from a place within your heart that wants the very best that life has to offer to you. But you have to believe that you deserve the very best that life has to offer you, and not in comparison to anyone else, because everyone deserves the very best that life has to offer us. And what Isis is saying is the fullness of your divine inheritance awaits the opening of your heart to receive it. So to experience the full manifestation power of your own divine light, you have to open your heart up to accept that it even exists, that it's not some God outside of you, that it's not some power that you have to earn. It's not some enlightenment that exists outside of you. You are already divine. You are already holy and pure. You are already a state of enlightenment that is awakening to itself. And when we soften our hearts to accept we are indeed this loved, we are indeed this blessed, it supports you to soften and to surrender into the gifts that you have to share. If everyone has gifts, if everyone's sovereign and divine, and everyone has something to offer and just to serve and to show up and be a part of this life, she's saying if you open up to that, what happens? Your heart opens up to receive the manifestations of your divine inheritance flowing back to you. Jesus taught, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be added unto you. What was he sharing with the people when he taught that? He was sharing with people that, were really struggling. They were saying to him again and again, well, I'm struggling. I need this. I need that. And he kept saying to them, remember who you really are first. Love your own heart first. And from that love, there's going to be an outpouring of divine energy that's going to magnetize to you higher and higher and higher resonances of experiences that are going to uplift you both internally and externally. When we choose to love our own hearts first, inevitably we decide we're going to show up to serve. And when you show up to serve, heaven unpacks, downloads, flows into your life in unexpected ways. Does it happen all at once? It happens based on how much you've opened your heart up to receive the blessings of heaven that are always flowing towards you. They're never not flowing towards you. But this process of loving our own hearts first is how the doors open for new opportunities, greater abundance, more loving, respectful, and impactful relationships to flow into your life. And very often we want to say, well, once those things show up, I'll be able to sit back and spend time loving myself. So whatever, lady. And I get it. It's totally okay to feel upset when there are places and spaces within your life that feel stagnant or resistant or even angry and just blocked, of course. And here's the thing. No one can love your heart for you. No one can value the truth of your sovereign divinity for you. I can talk about it every day on YouTube, but if you're not willing to lean into the vulnerable edge and to give up your small ideas about yourself, the way Isis teaches us in the Sophia Code, it's just words. And I pray that the words, are planting seeds so that that garden of self-love can grow within you. But you've got to take the time to love your own heart. This is why people often look for some guru figure, which I've said over and over again in my ministry and my mystery school and on this platform. I am not anyone's guru. I am a mirror, I'm a reflection, and I am busy embodying to the best of my own ability, my higher self and my own spiritual journey. And I'm here in a raw, authentic journey of my own, this path that I'm on. I'm here to reflect back to you, to whatever ability I can show up to every day, that you can do this too. That we're all being invoked by the Ascended Masters to truly own this journey of self-love, to lean into those places where we may feel shy, vulnerable, not articulate enough, not attractive enough, not smart enough, not blah, 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 blah enough to show up to our divine purpose, which is honestly all crap. That's the sandbagging that can happen in the gym, where somebody puts on a certain level of weight and you're like, yeah, this is cool. And then they realize that you're just sandbagging. You could do another 25 pounds. You could do another 40 pounds. You could lift at that level, and they call you out on it. And then you feel those new weights get stacked on. You're like, whoa, I can lift this. My angel wings are this strong. My heart is this big. I was gifted with talents and insights and ways to express how I want to serve others. And I'm not going to allow those scared places within me to hold me back from my service anymore. Instead, I'm going to get really inside this journey of self-love, and I'm going to love those people within me that are actually secretly rooting for me to move beyond the fears. They're just looking for my attention to feel safe enough to keep going and to explore life at a much bigger level. So, I dare you to love yourself just a little bit more, and maybe a whole lot more today. I welcome you and invite you to, if this conversation is stimulating an inner dialogue, for you to journal about your divine purpose, to journal about your worth as a daughter and son of the Most High, as a child of God, as a soul of the sovereign divine mother. Like, I invite you to become sober and honest with yourself about where you may be ready to take that next step and stop sandbagging, holding out on yourself, and either, make a greater commitment to your health today, to your physical body, to that next step of, whatever professional training that you may need for your divine purpose, or simply just taking that next step about becoming more engaged with life, with your neighbors, at work, in your community, maybe in your temple or your church. It's just like, let's step it up, people. Let's step up our self-love practice so that we can truly offer the world that overflow of divine love that we've finally accepted we are worthy of in this lifetime. I'm so grateful to Ascended Master Isis. Oh, thank you so much, beloved Isis, for everyone in this live. Thank you so much for everyone in the Sophia Code movement. God bless all of our Sophia Circle leaders who are on the very front lines of evolving consciousness with the Sophia Code and our Sophia Circle Journeys mystery. Thank you so much, Isis, for bringing your wings around us and mentoring us for the past 24 hours. Thank you so much for all the ways that you've inspired myself and our team angels personally to be faithful and to continue to serve this ministry, this global work every day. And I just ask for your blessing and your presence to continue lighting the path ahead of us, showing us the way of profound self-love, and where we can open and walk through new doors of opportunity to be seen in our divine purpose and our spiritual leadership. Thank you, beloved Ascended Master Isis. We invoke you to mentor us today, and we know that our higher self will reveal to us this mentor connection in unexpected and miraculous ways. And so it is. Oh, that was fun. Thanks, everyone. How are you feeling? Are you feeling Isis? I'm going to check the comment feed. Pauline's writing in, yes, let's step up to love. Oh, Julie's asking, where am I sandbagging in my life? Yes, so great. Linda did her little emoji with the weightlifter. Yes, yes, yes. I love that so much. Oh, so good. Thank you so much for writing in. Chelsea's writing in. It's great to see my employees and the contractors that I work with as equals on this leadership journey. Absolutely. It makes all the difference. We are all leading side by side. And when we don't think about ourselves as leaders, ultimately, we're not thinking about ourselves as people of service, because that's what leadership is. It's showing up to serve in our own unique way every day. Sophia's writing in, this is so powerful and needed. Thank you so much. You're welcome. All right. So if you are interested in learning more about how we're stepping it up worldwide for spiritual leadership, come join us in Austin for our Sovereign Spiritual Leadership Immersive. You can learn more at my website, kaira.com, and you're welcome to get in touch with us. We're happy to get on the phone with you and share more about this incredibly exciting event. That's also going to be, we're going to also have guest speakers and leaders from our Sophia Circle leadership community. It's just going to be, oh, I'm so excited. I actually have chills. We just finished channeling all of the ceremonial content, the live outdoor fire ceremonies for the fire dragon teachings that we'll be doing in Austin. And we're going to be posting that by the end of the day. So stay tuned for all of that new content. Thank you, everyone. I love you all so much as well. Have a blessed, beautiful day or evening wherever you are in the world. Namaste.